It was a winter like this, I think. Yeah.
Cold.
It was cold like this. And I think it was literally like June, July last year, literally. And I remember besicatugeza umama bekhona futhi. Besicatugeza. And then I remember I think I had thought about it in my head that I just really want to do this because I don't know, I just felt good maybe about myself or about my body or something. And then I was like, Anissa, please like just take, pictures of me right now. I don't even know if I explained to you like what was like the idea. I also don't remember what the idea was.
But I think weren't you by the mirror?
I was I was like standing if I still in. And then you were sat down somewhere, and then I just gave you the phone, and then I asked you to take the picture.
But I don't remember.
Like exactly like what you thought.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I don't even remember that day.
Yeah. Why do you think you said yes?
Because why would I say no?
Yeah.
Literally.
Because I also realized like you didn't even ask me like.
So was it that? Because I was like, I don't know. I feel like I guess I was just like, okay. Because why not?
Yeah.
You know, it's like even if you were just like, can you take pictures of me? I would have said yes.
Mm.
Like in general.
So the fact that I was like half naked, like you weren't, like you were probably concerned, but you didn't express your concern at all.
Sometimes in life, like I didn't think anything of it because I was like, if it is me, it's like okay. Like, I was just like, okay, girl, do your thing. Like whatever it was for, I knew it wasn't gonna be anything that was like unsafe or anything because you like I trust that you like smart about those things. But then I guess I wasn't necessarily worried because I didn't think like you'd do something that would be weird or something like that. But also, like, I thought about it, I was like, you are an artistic person, I guess. So maybe I also thought it could be something like that or anything, you know. But I also thought it wouldn't be something weird because Mama was right there as well. So, literally. Yeah, literally.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's interesting because I also actually didn't think about it until now. Obviously, I think this person didn't ask me like you honestly like you literally you just kept quiet and you just took the photos and then that was that. Okay, so when I drew out like my body, right? I really want to go about like describing how I felt because I think the phenomena is it doesn't really end at me have like drawn like my body or just even taking like the pictures. I think the phenomena that's a part of it, but I think what really sort of I think forms like another aspect or another part of it was how I felt when I was doing it. And I felt sort of, I don't know, I'd say like almost like nothing in a way because of how like new the experience was to me. After drawing myself and having like a couple of like, like drawings of myself in that way, I'm somebody that this particular area of my body is something that when I do look in the mirror, even when I think about it, I'm like, incredibly conscious of it. And, like I'm used to feeling, I guess, a sense of shame. And I think by taking the initiative of having to take pictures of myself, draw myself in that way, and then look at it and then be impressed with the drawing and the approach to my body felt different as well. Um, Many beautiful feelings, I think, or the entire situation I think that I created for myself is beautiful because I then started to really appreciate my body, and it felt like, I don't just have this body that I've felt so ashamed of and, sort of like not really proud about or great about or confident about. And now I can feel proud that I can actually do this. I can actually put it on a piece of paper and it be this fascinating but really powerful thing when when it's drawn out and when it's on a sketchbook. So I think the unfamiliarity of things just really started to, come about in this way. This feeling it's good, I would say that it's a good feeling, being able to look at myself, because essentially that is what it is. um to be able to look at myself and feel and not necessarily feel ashamed but feel proud was definitely a transition that I didn't expect. But even in that pride, even in that, sense of like joy, I think because it was so unfamiliar for me to feel that towards myself and towards my body in that way, it did feel so weird. Um, And yeah, I just wanted to bring that up as sort of like a point because in my mind, I was just going through this like mental slash emotional sort of like, I don't know, clash of some sort because I think I'm so used to thinking of myself in a certain way. And, the process really made me feel different, think different of myself. And I think these two really like opposing sort of, approaches to myself and to my body were clashing in my head, and it just resulted in this like weird feeling, you know? Um, yeah, it was so weird for me to figure out like, should I appreciate this, Like there's a part of me, like this positive side of me that was like, of course I should, this is great, because I'm really starting to like unlearn, or or this is gonna lead me to like really just unlearning and just like just like appreciating myself and accepting myself. But then at the same time, it's just like, why couldn't I have felt this way before? Like, why is this so weird? Like, I don't know. There's a sense of agony that I'm even feeling right now, like talking about it as well. It's just like, then like why did I have to, like it's just it's so weird. Um yeah, and then just like the fact that I don't know, I was just like feeling also weird about the fact that but I get to own this, like I get to actually own the narrative around my body. Um And that within itself is an unfamiliar aspect of things. If we're going to look at, I guess, am I supposed to feel a sense of ownership over this? Like, am I supposed to feel like I'm supposed to, like, be doing this? Um, like that feeling or that sense of ownership it was just so weird to me, or it couldn't settle very easily to me. I really do have to consider the world that I live in, like the society that I have, that I'm, essentially a part of. When it comes to my body, I was really, I don't know when I actually started to be aware of my body, but I guess since consciousness, so since I gained consciousness, so maybe ages 6, I think. Um, yeah, I I think also around those ages, I was also very conscious of a lot of things around me, and I was also consuming like media. I'm watching so many different things on TV. Um, I'm also around people that are also consuming things on TV and different sorts of media. Not just around that age, but even from that age going into, like high school and then, like now even exposed to like social media. And it was pretty much, the same sort of thing or the narrative that, that was expected or yeah, that was expected around, like women and, their bodies. Um, you know, I think we just in a society where like women are incredibly conscious of themselves and especially when it comes to their bodies. Um, and yeah, I think I really did have to think about like myself and like when did I start to be conscious of, myself? When did these ideas of what my body is supposed to look like and seem like was starting to really like cement itself to me that I had even started to feel, you know, negatively about the way that it is like naturally. Um, and that forms a huge part of it because a lot of the messaging there is that, there's, there really is, a very like I don't know, defined particular like there's like very, very certain ways that my body's supposed to be for it to be accepted, essentially. And I become conscious of that from an incredibly young age as I'm consuming media. But media is not so much of, I think the like media is I guess I can say that it has been the problem but I think a lot of the ideas that, were being portrayed by the media, the root problem of those is, the patriarchy. And that is the one link I think I can make between like the media and then going into, like the reality of my life because those same ideas of, my body having to be a particular way for it to actually be accepted within society, for it to be, celebrated, for it to be acknowledged, for me to accept it and acknowledge it myself, um, is something that was not only playing out within the media that I was consuming, but I was surrounded by, communities and societies around me from the time I was a kid and even until now that carry a lot of those same sort of, ideas and understandings of how I am supposed to be and supposed to show up and how my body is supposed to be like how it's supposed to look and how things or certain aspects of my body is supposed to be shaped for them to be deemed attractive and appealing, which is essentially looking into what can be, socially accepted. Um, yeah, I think it's just so weird because even when I was thinking about this, I thought about how I think I'm more familiar with um bodies portrayed in the media than I am with my own like body in a way. It's so weird when I think about how I'm so used to seeing, other like, a lot of like the mainstream sort of like portrayals of, bodies within like, you know, within the media. They're the same that they're pretty much the same that they've been on TV that they are like now on social media. And I guess we can say that of course like there's been different trends of like what bodies are attractive or whatnot, but still the idea is that this particular kind of you know body is attractive and if you don't have that you're not or if you don't have that we can't accept you like how we would accept I guess, this particular kind of body. Sorry, there's always a kind of thing that I need to, firstly, like I need to conform to that setup and to that structure, and then I need to actually mold myself, change myself, you know, I don't know, manipulate myself or aspects of myself to look that way. Um, and yeah, but essentially, I think I've seen so many portrayals of these bodies, and or how these or how a woman's body is supposed to look like. And so when it comes to, I guess, really facing the reality of my own body, it feels really unfamiliar to me because I'm constantly having to consume um the portrayals and the depictions of other people's like bodies, you know? And it's not a variety, you know, like it's not like this diverse, you know, I guess display and range of bodies. No, it's very particular. Um, and so then I guess that makes the portrayal or the depiction or, you know, the side of my own to feel or register even to myself as incredibly unfamiliar. Um, And that is a very weird thing for me to have to say. It's weird, it's sad, and it just it doesn't make sense. It it doesn't sit well for me to have to like really express that right now. Um I guess essentially if we look at the makeup of, you know, what these structures are really doing or the positions that they really put women in, it's essentially saying that I'm not supposed to really like my body as it is. Um, when I look at how it's supposed to then like make me feel and where it has positioned me, if I put myself and you know my body, I you know, and I you know, really sort of place it and try and position like where am I within this structure and this framework, you know, where am I deemed like, you know, just like where am I placed and whatnot. I don't really win. Um, and I will never really like feel like a winner unless I do all the things to change myself to fit into that. That I'm not gonna do. I 100% refuse to do that. And I think that's an incredible, okay, that's not the right word, but I think it's one of just like it's one of the main reasons as to why I feel like this work is essential for me. Um, I want to be able to accept myself, but I guess I'm figuring out like how, you know? Because it almost seems like a no-brainer. Like I should just do it. I should just accept it. I should just, you know. But that I guess I'm just I know that it requires a navigation, you know, because I'm trying to genuinely do it. You know, I literally went about the process of really just, you know, really you know, like understanding that this is my body, you know, a picture was taken of it. I drew it out. I really did come to understand the form of it and the makeup of how it is naturally. Appreciated in a sense or to a certain extent, and come to realize that there's so much to process about this, you know.